This week, a great find that I got. Warner Brothers Archives released this particular video, not as a single movie, but two. And it comes from one of the great creators of the science fiction TV series Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. And Gene Roddenberry, you know, other than Star Trek, he's made many different series. We know from Andromeda, Earth Final Conflict, but most people don't realize, not once, not but twice, he tried to get TV series off the ground in the 1970s after the end of Star Trek. Basically, it is a good concept. Some of it has sort of been repeated in some ways or another, and some people might say, well, this is something from other series on there, but it is well done. It has been remastered into Blu-ray. It's still a 4:3. It's not a widescreen restoration. It's a 4:3. The sound has been improved, considering how old this film is. And it is a movie, even though it's a pilot, really. And it has two separate names for the pilot, as most of the cast are not in both movies. The first one was called Genesis 2. The second one was Planet Earth, but it was the same plot. It was the same exact plot, but basically taken from two different angles as Roddenberry tried to improve and get this pushed out. They're about a year apart. 1973, 1974. Obviously, Genesis 2 was written by Gene Roddenberry, directed by John Llewellyn Moxey. The movie starred Alex Cord, played Dylan Hunt. Now, if you know that name very well, the character in the Andromeda series was called Dylan Hunt as well. As you can see, Roddenberry did recycle names on there. Mariette Hartley was also in there. Ted Cassidy, you know him as Lurch from the Addams Family. He was also this, and he had more of a speaking role in this. Do catch it. It's kind of unusual hearing him speak in there, knowing him, watching him from the Addams Family. Of course, Percy Rodriguez and Harvey Jason. The basic plot of this is Alex Cord, who was also in Airwolf. He played Archangel in Airwolf. He plays a scientist that is experimenting in ways of suspended animation to help astronauts sleep on longer flights, but an accident caused the cave-in to the lab, and he was sealed in there for 150 years, where he awakens after a war that pretty much sent mankind back as far as technology, as far as the world the way it is. It's a much different world with mutants, Barbary, slavery, and basically he's trying to figure out who to trust in a world of this nature. Majel Barrett, who in future will become the wife of Gene Roddenberry, also stars in this movie as well. And she stars in both Genesis 2 and the Planet Earth TV series as well. She plays two different characters, and besides only Ted Cassidy and Majel Barrett are like one of only two characters that gets transposed into the 74 version, which Alex Cord is replaced by John Saxon, plays the same character. One funny thing as far as character names, Baylock is used, who's played by Christopher Carey in this, Janet Moglen. Also, Diane Muldaur, who, if you've seen her in she was in an episode of Star Trek, the original series. She's shown up in that series as well. As you can see, you had some Star Trek veterans in both of these made-for-TV movies. The difference is with Planet Earth and Genesis, the locations were changed a little bit. Plotline was readjusted. This time around, this is directed by Mark Daniels. The writing credits on there is Gene Roddenberry and Juanita Bartlett for the teleplay, and the main story was Gene Roddenberry. The plot line itself of course, it's the suspended animation, which basically they don't. In Genesis, you've seen that. They kind of skip over that part. It's only mentioned in passing as narration in the beginning of the movie. But the main storyline stays pretty much the same of the place Pax. But the locations have been moved to a city. It looks like what they did was the mutants that had the city, they kind of flipped that because they were Pax, the main group, were living inside of a mountain, and then it was switched over to the city of Pax. That's one of the major things. But the premise of this, they're looking for a doctor to help with someone who was injured, who was shot in the back through the heart. They needed an emergency surgeon, which they heard could be in a territory where it's run by women who dominate men and sell men into slavery. So it has a slavery aspect to it, because the world has changed greatly in, like I said, in both Genesis and Planet Earth. You know, there's barbarism, slavery. There are many emphasis on how the world has become a more, as they say, less technological world, with the exception of Pax, who have tried to save that technology. I mean, you've heard that, you know, like in the first movie, there are, you hear nuclear reactors and stuff like that. And then, of course, that bullet train that they have, which they're able to use to transfer themselves. It's a train that runs underground, that circles around the world. That's the most technology that they have. Everything else is from scraps. Like there's a scene in Planet Earth that they're using automobiles, the barbarians. They're using a fixed up automobile, which is basically about 150 years old, because that's how long it's been elapsed. It's about 150 years that has elapsed that Dylan Hunt has been sleeping. But all in all, this is a great film to watch, and it's great to get on DVD. It's under $20. The price seems like it's going up because I don't think it's going to stay in print long. I grabbed my copy under $20. You can get it on Amazon, on eBay. Most of the places do have this available. Some outlets are running out of it. So like I said, do grab it. I mean, it is a great view. You can see where Roddenberry, what direction he was going with. After Star Trek, between Star Trek and Earth Final Conflict. Because you have to remember, he had a slew of TV series afterwards, and basically some of them were good. Earth Final Conflict was good. First half Andromeda was good, but it kind of faltered at the end. I mean, like I said, Gene Roddenberry was a genius when it came to science fiction. And he had no problem and you could say this, and you don't really talking about things that were going on at the time politically. But it's not rubbed in like they do today. It's done in a way that it's just a secondary part in the background when they discuss it. They talk about slavery. They talk about the politics of having the infrastructure of technology and not having the infrastructure of technology. What is more important? What's best in life? Yeah, do catch it before it's gone forever.
你别笑，要做一个锻炼。